Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the North Star Network. As tonight we have an intense matchup, the rematch of the sectional quarterfinal last year between Cicero-North Syracuse North Stars and the West Genesee Wildcats. I'm doing on here tonight alongside Robert Bateman, Andrew Matiasik, and Johnny Lisi. Rob, what do you think Jenny has to do tonight to come back and get a repeat of last year's quarterfinal?
Owen, my word of the night is dialed. Both teams need to be dialed in here tonight. They have gone back and forward all last season. They haven't played this season yet, but the last time the two faced off was in the sectional playoffs, and West Genny was able to come out on top at their home field. But CNS, just a few weeks before that game, beat them here. These two teams have been going back and forward at each other. So both teams need to be dialed in, and they cannot afford to give up easy goals. The defense needs to be solid. The offense needs to score goals. This is going to be a shootout, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Rob, and to add in what you said, the last four matchups between CNS and West Genny has been decided by a total of 5 goals, which is impressive.
Yeah, and like you said, impressive is definitely the word to use that. And as you see, both teams lined up. They're locked in and ready to go. So we will be right back after the national anthem.
Sophomore number 1, Nolan Polani. Junior number 23, Jack Melly. Senior number 30, Ryan Mahoney. Starting on defense, senior number 13, Sam Rosa. Senior number 16, Jack Garvey. And senior number 22, Nelson Hutchins. Starting in goal for the Wildcats, junior number 15, Shane Stout. The Wildcats are led by head coach Eric Burns, assisted by Jason Croy and Drew Cimino. Our star fans, please welcome our starting lineup. Starting attack, senior number 7, Mason Blakeman. Senior number 8, John Carter. Junior number 33, Mason Cicero-North. Starting midfield, junior number 1, Elijah Martin. Senior number 20, Michael Kohler. Junior number 22, Ian Leahy. Starting on defense, senior number 13, Josh Kupala. Freshman number 17, Joseph Malaki. And junior number 21, Joseph Green. Starting goal for North Stars, senior number 2, Peter Carter. Our North Stars led by head coach Chuck Rollins, by Nick Kettle, Michael Blanc.
And we are back here after the national anthem and the starting lineups for this Cicero-North Syracuse and West Genesee matchup. Both sides taking to the inside to start this game off. I think a very big piece for CNS's offense tonight is going to come from 2s and 3s. The nicknames given to Ian Leahy, number 22, and number 33, Mason Cicero-North.
Yeah, Owen, I agree. And we have live stats here tonight. Thank you to Johnny Lisi, who's in the booth with us. And looking at just the scorer sheet for the league around the section, we have Ian Leahy at number 2 in the section with 24 goals. And then Mason Blakeman and Mason Cicero-North at 4 and 5 with 19 and 18 goals on the season. So they're crushing it. And then I look over into the assist category, and Mason Blakeman, second in assists with 18 assists on the season. And then you look over to saves, and both the goalies here tonight round out 3 and 4. Shane Strout for Jenny with 64 saves on the season, which is an insane number, Owen. And Peter Carter with 40 saves on the season. He would have a higher number, but he does tend to take a seat to some of the younger guys when CNS does get up big.
Yes, Kemp took the face-off there. He's giving it to Liam Burns, who then gives it over to Jack Mellon. Mellon back over.
And, Owen, this is what you'll see out of West Jenny here a lot tonight. They like to really spread their offense out. CNS plays really well when their defense can be tight. So if they can spread out the CNS offense, they might be able to find some holes inside.
Yeah, Jenny working around the outside right now. Give it to Bellotti. He's going to try and attack here. Going in, looks like Kohler. Taking it back out. Jenny gets a move inside. They fire way outside of the goal. That's going to sail out of bounds past Peter Carter. Looks like it's going to stay with West Genesee. It will stay with West Genesee. Start on the backside of the X. Coming around, bounce pass, lost in traffic, and it looks like it stays with the Wildcats. Still fighting forward is CNS. Jenny's coming inside, gets through the traffic, fires on the ground. Ball's up in the air, comes away with it is the Wildcats once again. Bellotti bounced it off the ground, unable to control it. He's chased down by Martin, gets it away from Elijah Martin.
And that's a great job by Bellotti there, just to use his body and get in the way of Elijah Martin. Then he's able to just turn and take that ball right in.
Mahoney over to Bellotti. Constantine on X. Back out to Bellotti. He's going to attack on Elijah Martin now. Pass fumbled. Coming inside now is Mellon. He ripped one off the stick of Peter Carter, and CNS is coming away with one here, and they do. That's Malecki getting away with it for the North Stars. Pass lost control. That one's thrown by number 28 for the North Stars, Jordan Miller.
Shout out to Peter Carter for that save. He's going to see a lot more shots tonight, and if he keeps that hot streak up that he has already, CNS is going to be looking nice on defense.
Jenny slowly working around the outside right now. Get it to Bellotti. Take it around that backside. Guarded by Elijah Martin.
Elijah Martin, although he does have to defend with a short stick, he is one of the better defenders on the CNS team.
Blyden send it back to the other side. Picked up now is Jordan Miller on him. Takes around, looks to the inside. He fires. Oh, another great save from Peter Carter. Malecki comes away with that one again. Getting in traffic. I get this one away. Get to the stick of Josh Kubala.
Well done by Malecki there just to spin out of that pressure, breaking West Jenny's ride, and now CNS can look to attack.
Joe Green coming up now. Gets a pass looking for Cicero-North, unable to control it. That's taken away by the long stick for West Genesee.
There was a flag on that play. I think it's going to be a slash on Joe Green. So West Genny will get the ball back after this possession. Excuse me.
Jenny taking it way out on the back side now, guarded by Elijah Martin.
Like I said, Owen, Jenny's really going to want to stretch out the CNS defense. They got to get the ball away from guys like Josh Kubala and Joe Green on the inside.
Here comes a long stick with Kubala. They're going to fire, and that's off the ground, and pass Peter Carter for the first goal of the game.
And Owen,
the Wildcats.
Owen, right here you just see a display from West Genny being dominant possession-wise. CNS only had the ball in their attacking half for about 15 seconds before West Genny won it back. So, right there, that is all thanks to West Genny just simply keeping the ball and playing their style of offense.
Yeah, what else I saw there, Jenny did a great job of spreading out the CNS offense. They drew Kubala away from the middle because Martin got beat. So then Kubala's long stick's taken out of the middle, which led out for an open man in the center.
And another big thing that is going to play a massive role tonight is face-offs. Tanner Lawn, statistically very strong on the face-off. We did see him lose the first one. So this is really going to come down to who can win more face-offs tonight.
Long fighting for that one. He's going to come away with it now. And now CNS is going to have their first true real possession of the game.
Oh, and it was actually losing a face-off that really did not help the CNS team last year in that sectional playoff. They lost that crucial face-off when it was 8-8, which ended up losing them the game.
As Tanner Long stuck in a double teamer now trying to get out of it. Whistle's bone. Looks like head coach Chuck Wilbur is going to call him out here to CNS talk things over.
And that's a smart timeout right there. You just want to set up your offense. Having Tanner Lawn running around the X just trying to keep the ball is not what you need, especially when you're already down 1-0.
Yeah, the last thing I think Wilbur wants, they're already down 1-0. You don't want your Fogo guy stuck in a double team on that back side. We need a big possession here.
A big possession is definitely needed for CNS. They do not want to fall behind more than one goal. The only game we've seen them fall behind by more than one goal was that Baldwinsville game at Beeville, and CNS ended up getting blown out 13-6.
Yeah, it was a way for that Beeville game, but they got them back here on Friday.
That's true. You'll be on the call for that. Make sure to tune in on the North Star Network. That game will be at 7 o'clock for the first face-off. Drew Matiasic will also be on the call alongside Owen. Drew's actually here with us tonight. Drew, do you have anything to share? I know you went down and interviewed with the West Genny head coach before the game.
Yes, the West Genny head coach had a lot to say. One thing he said is they have a lot of college commitments from their team, college commitments to Mercyhurst, RIT, Siena, and Binghamton. And he said that this game is going to be a very tough game, always hostile at CNS, but it should be a fun game and a great test for both teams. This is a 3-versus-4 match in the SCAC Metro. Whoever wins will go above into third or second place after this game. So it's just a real challenge out there for both teams battling for that spot in the SCAC Metro.
Yeah, and be sure if you're not tuning into this game under the Friday night lights at 7 o'clock, you're going to the CNS Talent Show at the North Syracuse Junior High. Buy your tickets in school this week.
Yeah, buy your tickets for sure. I will be hosting, so you'll get to hear my glorious voice if you decide to show up on Friday.
They're going to start with Elijah Martin, ball on his stick. Coming around, picked up by a long stick.
Yeah, he's got to get that long stick off him, but the benefit from that is you have Mason Blakeman, who can get to a short stick if they just set a nice pick for him.
He's got to get a ball out of his stick for this one. Yeah, they've got long sticks on Elijah, Leahy, and looks like Blakeman as well. And I'm going to assume Cicero-North, so very tough for CNS here. Martin still has it.
Cicero will come back in just a second. Yeah, now that numbers is tied. They were a man down, so keeping the ball there just works out in their favor. Michael Kohler can drive down the wing now.
Yeah, now they're going to switch that short stick back to Martin, put a long stick on Cicero, which is smart from the Genny defense. Here comes Blakeman around the side.
Yeah, and this is where he loves to work, just rolling around that crease.
Blakeman's having trouble with this long stick, and now gets it to Michael Kohler, who's picked up by a long stick. Get it to Cicero, who's playing rather quickly after tearing his ACL over the summer. Cicero fires, unable to get that one through. Keeps it with it. He fires. That one's way outside. Almost hit the cameraman down the backside. Looks like Blakeman might have been there for CNS. This will stay with CNS.
What a great move by Mason Cicero there. We saw him do that against FM last year when he came in. He almost had like a fake shot. He cradles it back and then goes sidearm. It works really well, and if he's able to put that one away, it's a tie game.
Here comes Ian Leahy, the leading goal scorer for the North Stars. That one's way long, but Blakeman's there. It's going to stay with CNS.
And you know what, Owen? Although we missed that one, you want that shot all day long. If Ian Leahy can fire from that position, he's going to put at least one away tonight.
You know, these North Stars have to keep Shane Stout on his toes. Can't let him sit back. Elijah Martin fires. That one's off the stick, a shout. Fight for it in the center. Cicerelli's going to come away with it. There's still a fight for it. A lot of blue shirts on the ground, and coming away with it for that one is number 40, Tashal Kelly.
And that works out in West Jenny's favor because CNS can't run that ride that they're so strong in now.
As they lose one way too deep, little over the head there of number 31, Charles Lockwood for the Wildcats. Now it's going back to CNS, trailing 1-0 with 6:24 left to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, and that's just sloppy from Jenny there, but another bad pass from Malecki. West Jenny can capitalize, and they do.
Yeah, that was a very rough play. They left Peter Carter basically on an island there with Liam Burns, Jenny's leading goal scorer on the season, going right open into Peter Carter. Now CNS trails 2-0.
Yeah, that's not what you need. Malecki has to find a better pass there. That cross-field pass all the way to Kubala just won't work. If West Jenny's sitting a player on the goalie, you have to make sure it gets there. And that one he throws a little short, and Liam Burns is able to just capitalize on it.
North Stars got to lock in and dial in a bit here, Rob, so far in this first quarter.
Yeah, Owen, you're right. They need to beep, 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 dial in.
As Jenny Ryan Kemp's going to win another face-off.
Coming out slow is the last thing the North Stars need right now. The best thing they can do is get a stop here and go score on the other end. They need the momentum back in their favor.
There's Bellotti. Coming in, he's going to rip a shot, and that's another goal by Jenny. That one looked to be number 30.
And that is
Ryan
just
Mahoney, and CNS is losing out of control here. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear another timeout.
Oh, and that is just pure class from Bellotti. We see him cut down this wing, and then he just takes a hard rip into the top corner of Peter Carter's net. Nothing Peter Carter can do there. That's just on the CNS defense. They have to close out to that shooter.
Yeah, North Star's defense is really struggling now, but you can't also forget the offense, too. Face-offs are struggling. We're going to see a change-up. You know, it's still going to be Tanner Long in there for CNS. Oh, no. They went 19 Emmett Porter. Star hockey player for the North Stars, as seen as the face-offs in the offensive possession for the North Stars, and Cicerelli is going to come away with it.
CNS should look to score quick here. They got the numbers up.
North Stars need a goal. Here comes Leahy taking off the LSM, Nick Ludwig. Elijah Martin's going to come back on the field for CNS. Now Leahy's going to try and go. An impressive lefty for the North Stars. Gets Cicerelli. Now over to Martin. Elijah Martin's going to spin, try and rip a shot. That one's deflected off his stick and into the net of Shane Stout for the Wildcats. Now here comes Jenny the other way. This Jenny defense is putting CNS in a box.
And Michael Kohler with a beautiful check right there onto Shaw Kelly. CNS gets that one right back. That's that ride they love to be in. If CNS can get their feet under them in this game, they can turn the tide very quickly.
Yeah, North has to be physical. Leahy's wide open, rips the shot, just misses the net over the left-hand shoulder of Shane Stout. This one looks like it'll stay with CNS as John Carter was there. But they got to as long as CNS keeps the pressure on Jenny, they're going to come back into this. They can't just let the pressure off the gas.
And Owen, that one was inches away from going in. Ian Leahy's going to be kicking himself that he didn't put that one away.
As Kohler's now going. Gets over to Cicerelli, now to Blakeman. Blakeman needs to get around this long stick. He's going to fire, ball loses control. And Blakeman's getting boxed up right now, too. The Northers have to work with those secondary goal scorers because we know Jenny's going to be ready for Leahy, Blakeman, and Cicerelli. Someone else needs to step up for them.
And it could be Josh Kubala here. We know he's got wheels. A commit to Syracuse is a preferred walk-on for football. That man is an absolute beast on the field.
D1 Diesel. So now here's Leahy about the 40-yard line. He can take things a little bit slower here. Kubala's got to get back so Kohler can come on and play offense. As Leahy's hit down to the ground, keeps the ball in his stick. Impressive. He's going to take it back out, get it over to Mason Cicerelli. Now to John Carter. Carter takes it back out.
In the last game here, CNS had John Carter had a first half hat trick. So if he can get his shooting hand going again tonight, CNS will greatly need that.
Elijah Martin's going to try and go around here. Spins back to his right. Martin gets over to John Carter. Now to Mason Blakeman. Blakeman's going to come around.
Feed Cicero-North.
Cesar gets the screen set. Now back out to Leahy. Leahy loves that left side. He's going to spin. Leahy has an open fire and gets the goal in. Ian Leahy, 25 goals now on the season for the junior number 22. Impressive shot there.
Oh, and that is exactly what CNS needed. They needed something to go their way. Now, if Tanner Long can win this faceoff, they can go back down the field. They know West Genny's breakable. They figured it out. You saw that screen from Mason Cicero-North on the backside for Blakeman. That was gorgeous. Then they feed Leahy up top, and all Leahy has to do is put that one in the back of the net after a quick move. Beautiful stuff right there from CNS.
Yeah, as the North Stars are starting to figure things out, it's Kemp and Long in there. Still a fight for it. Ball's on the ground. And there's Nicholas Ludwig in there with the LSM to get the ball out for the North Stars. He's got to find a short stick here. Nicholas gets into a tough fight. Starting to call a high check here. Actually, no, CNS going to call a timeout to keep that possession.
That's a good timeout there. You need to keep the ball. They're trying to get offensive possessions going.
So North Stars now out of timeouts, though.
And Owen, you know what? That's all right. 2:40 left in this quarter. Then you only have another 12-minute quarter. You got time to take those timeouts. It's not going to hurt you that much. I can't see there being that many plays that are as crucial as that face-off right there. If CNS can get a goal coming off of that timeout, that's the best possible thing they can do. And then they can go from there. Their momentum will fully be moving if they get a goal here.
Yeah, Rob, you know, I'm not going to question the double-digit national champions in Chuck Wilbur and Nick Gatto with what they're doing with this CNS team.
Yeah, coming back, well, not back, but coming to CNS from OCC, where they made that a historic franchise. OCC is one of the best lacrosse schools around at the D3 level, and that is thanks to Nick Gatto and Chuck Wilbur.
Yeah, so I'm not going to question Wilbur sees. I mean, you're not wrong. They just scored a goal. You got 2:40 left. You got a bit of momentum. You want to get another goal before this first quarter zeroes out.
Yeah, and the guy I really think they need to start going to more is John Carter. Every lawn stick for West Genny, Jack Garvey, Sam Rosa, plenty of others, they're taking Leahy, Cicero-North, and Blakeman out of the game. And if that happens, I think John Carter is the perfect guy to step up. We saw him cut inside into the crease. Like I said, last game he had a first quarter hat trick just from cutting across the crease. If he can start doing that tonight, great things can happen for
Martin
CNS.
passed to Kohler a little long. Still a fight for it. Kohler's going to fight for it and get it. Yeah, you got to feed in John Carter because even Martin's picking up some long sticks here. So John Carter's got to be the man to go against a short stick and fight for CNS, or even Michael Kohler. They get it to Cicero-North. Fire back across to Elijah Martin.
Oh, and I really like this matchup right now. Martin on a short stick looks good for CNS.
He gets kicked to the ground. Flag
That'll
is
draw a
thrown
flag.
as he's down. Looks like he's able to get up okay. We love to see that. It's Elijah Martin. He was your Swiss Army knife last year as a sophomore.
Elijah Martin, the Swiss Army knife. I did call him that last season, and we might see it come back this season. We'll see. Only a 30-second there. That's a little surprising, but CNS needs to make every second of this count. If they can get a goal in this 30 seconds, that is crucial to get them
Blakeman's
back
been the
in
one
this
to
game.
start off this 30 seconds. Gets it over to Elijah Martin. Now to Cicero-North.
And the biggest thing West Genny's going to do right now, Owen, is they're just going to sit in and defend the crease. So they got to really work this offense.
Get into Leahy. It looks to be Carter. Now back to Leahy. This was blown. Can't see what it was for. But it's going to be West Genesee possession. I think maybe a CNS player stepped in the crease. I'm not exactly sure.
I think that might have been the call on John Carter on that backside. I'm not 100% sure, though. The ref didn't indicate what it was. So we're just going to say West Genny ball, and they got the attack now. The timeout did not pay off in CNS's favor, and it's not something Chuck Wilbur has to be happy about.
Lockwood with it going towards X4 Genny. Gets it over to Liam Burns.
And here comes that extra number for West Genny back in.
To Shala Kelly. Over to Mahoney. Back to Kelly. Jenny taking things slow here as they really want that last shot before the end of this first quarter. Kelly back over to Mahoney.
This is a good matchup for Mahoney. Leahy's not one of the strongest defenders on this team. Definitely dominates on the offensive end. That's the matchup they want to attack right now.
Yeah, they're going to attack Leahy, which means they're going to draw a long stick, which leaves the middle open again like they did for their first goal. 25 seconds now left of the first quarter. Go over to Kelly, who's going to draw the short stick in the fog with Tanner Long. They find a man inside. He goes around his back, unable to get it. There's a fight for it on the ground. CNS still fighting. Kubala's going to fight for it. Still can't get it. Jenny's going to come away with it, fire inside. There's a loose ball on the ground. Here comes Malecki. They got 2 seconds. He's got to shoot. That ball's way outside. Shot fired by Nolan Bellotti as a flag is thrown again by the official. Let's see what this one is. As North Stars trail 3-1 after the first quarter. Calling a 1-minute slash on the North Stars. I'm guessing it sounded like 13 Josh Kubala.
Yeah, that is not a good penalty to have. 1 minute without arguably your best defender. Not what you want to see. The good side of this, though, is if CNS can get a win here on the face-off, they can draw out that 1 minute on offense instead of defense.
Yeah, this is probably one of the biggest face-offs of the game. They have to win this one, or else Jenny's going to go down. Most likely to score without a long stick defender and Josh Kubala on the field, and then you're down 4-1.
Yeah, and I'd assume we'd see probably Caleb Martin step in, maybe Nick Ludwig, that long stick midi. It's going to be a long stick. They're going to take off a short stick, but the question is, who will it be?
My guess, though, might pull Kohler and leave Ludwig in at LSM unless they get a solid offensive possession, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could almost see Jordan Miller stepping in. We've seen him play a lot of defense recently, and he's done a very solid job. All the guys on the team, when we talk to him, have said Jordan's improved a lot on the defensive end, so he's also an option. It's going to be really curious to see who it will be.
Yeah, but CNS, remember, they have to stay that man down, so they're already in a troubling position, so they might have to bring – you're probably going to see Ludwig step on the field. I would almost be certain. Let's see what they do here. They're going to switch sides. You see Carter. And Kubala is still on the field, so I couldn't tell who that slash penalty was on if it wasn't Kubala. It was some of the North Stars, but it wasn't Josh Kubala, so that's a bit lucky for them. Slash on number 17, Joseph Malecki. Thanks to our PA, Daryl White, for getting that information. As they do bring in Ludwig as another LSM. That'd be that LSM.
It actually looks like it's Caleb Martin who that was on as he's sitting.
Bounce shot goes in for West Genesee. Looked to be number 27, Jack Giannuzzi Jr.
I think I'm going to have to correct you there, Owen. It was number 23, Jack Mellon, who finished that one just wide open in the midfield, but that's not really at fault to CNS. They just are a man down. Someone's going to be open at some point, and right there it happened to be Jack Mellon, and he's able to put that one away. On another beautiful shot, Peter Carter, really nothing he could do about that one. Just has to shake it off and move on.
Yeah, and Tanner Long needs a win here. He's got it in his favor. There's still a fight for it on the ground. Still a fight for it. Flag is thrown. Jenny's going to come away with that one. That's number 17, Ben Chamberlain. He gets pushed out of bounds by Nick Ludwig.
See what the flag is. I'd assume it's against CNS. No.
Yeah. And Nicholas Ludwig picking up a 1 minute for slashing there for CNS. They cannot handle that right now. I'm saying there might be 2 men down now.
No, only 1 man. But still, you just can't have that this early in the game. You're down 4-1, and frankly, that last goal was due to the slash, and now you have another one going right after it. It's not a good look for CNS right now. They
The North
need to lock
Stars'
in.
biggest problem we saw last year and what we've seen this year so far is once they get in a pitfall, they struggle to come out of it.
Yeah, and you're completely right. They're a team that when they're going and they're in stride with the team or even ahead, their momentum keeps them going. This team has a lot of energy, but once they fall behind, they tend to put their heads down and they just can't get out of that hole.
Get over to Lockwood. From the outside, they're going to fire. Peter Carter keeps it in his feet, and it's going to roll over just short. Peter Carter's got to be kicking himself over the shins with that one. Just let it get across the goal line. This is not CNS's day.
Yeah, and now 5-1 your score. 10:28 still left on the clock. That's the thing. There's a lot of time. They can come back still. This game's not out of hand. They just need to fix it now. They can't let this get any worse. They need a win on the face-off here. You got to stay out of foul trouble. These slashes have been the two most crucial things. Once again, an open shooter is able to score there just because they're down a man on the field.
Yeah, that's another goal from Jack Mellon. He's been the main capitalizer for West Genesee in these man-down situations. That face-off looks like will be won by the North Stars and Tanner Long. Get over to Mason Cicerelli. North Stars need a goal. A few goals, obviously, in this quarter. But this possession especially. As Long checks out for Leahy, they're going to immediately give it to Leahy.
Yeah, feed the hot hand.
As Leahy gets by the long stick, he fires off the stick of Shane Stout. He's going to keep that one in his possession. Stout's been doing an amazing job tonight for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and there's a reason he's number 3 in the section, almost number 2, only one save behind. And it's those plays right there, just that extra save that he needs to keep West Genny in this game and keep him ahead.
As West Genesee is going to call timeout here. And we're going to take a bit of a breather as well. We'll be right back after the Wildcats timeout. And we are back after that brief timeout intermission. It's going to be Wildcats ball as CNS needs a defensive stop and they need to come back on the other one and seal that with a goal. That's the plainest and simplest way to put it, but that's what they need to do. Here come the Wildcats of West Genesee. As the middle right now is wide open. CNS going with a strict man-to-man as they're going to fire and get another goal in. That one looks to be number 31, Charles Lockwood, as CNS is falling apart right now. They're down 6-1.
Yeah, and right there, Lockwood just gets the better of his defender, and he's able to put that one away. There's nothing that you can really blame that on except for the sloppy defense. You can't come out slow after a timeout, especially when you don't have any timeouts left, so this is really your only time to talk things over. Getting scored on in less than 5 seconds out of a timeout is just not a good look.
Looks like Caleb Martin's going to be ready to check in as CNS was just not in prime form. They came out into a strict man-to-man, and when you're in a strict man-to-man like that with no help, you can't get beat, as Tanner Long loses the face-off there to Ryan Kemp. As this first half is not going the North Stars' way, you need a big halftime talk. Ball going loose, be sticking with Jenny. Is Lockwood tightly guarded by Kubala on the outside. Comes the screen. Kubala's going to stick with him. Now going to get it to Liam Burns. Now over to Bonatti. Now Mellon. Mellon gets around Tanner Long. They get a person in the outside. Ball's on the ground. Fighting for it. Tanner Long's going to come away with this one. No. It's going to be Malecki. Malecki's got to make a smart pass here. He gets pushed down to the ground. Flag will be drawn. So North Stars will be a man up for, I'm assuming, it's 30 seconds. But that's going to be a huge 30 seconds they need to capitalize on.
Yeah, you're completely right, Owen. And being that man up, this is your best chance to score. You're down 6-1. All you got to do is make it 6-2. It's like Nick Nurse said, coach of the Raptors. Hey, it's 3-0 right now, but all we need to do is make it 3-1.
Did they make it 3-1?
They did. It's actually 3-2 right now.
Oh, big Raptors guy. My
Yeah.
Hawks are playing tonight.
Ah.
Jimmy Butler's not playing. They got a shot.
Yeah, I know. You guys need a win.
Yeah, Atlanta's not doing too hot with that Miami defense is a little too good.
Hey, man. As the Raptors, we only play like 6 players, so life's not too good over there either.
Get it over to Leahy. Leahy's going to fire. That one's way outside, and this one looks like it'll stay with CNS, though.
And this is what CNS needs to do. Just if you get an open shot, take it. They need to keep testing Strout. Just keep testing him. Keep firing. Even if you just rack up his saves for the game, that's fine. Sooner or later, one's going to go in.
Cicero, a quick pass back to Martin. Now to Blakeman inside. He's going to spin. Gets the double team on him. He's got to get a pass out now. Gets it back out to Martin. Now to Cicerelli. Back to Martin. Martin back to Cicerelli. He's got an open shot. Cicerelli's going to take it off the body. Shoulder. That one doesn't look too good. Wilson's going to blow him. They're going to send number 22. Nelson Hudgens looks like off the field. He took a fat shot there from Cicerelli.
Yeah, and we've seen Mason Cicerelli absolutely rifle balls into the back of the net, so that one definitely did not have to feel good.
Brendan Patrick coming on to be the replacement here for West Jenny. As Nick Bassatti's going to come on. Someone we saw come in last year and proven some huge goal-scoring opportunities for CNS in that last season when he was a sophomore. Now as a junior, out improved in the summer. They've got a shot here to get a goal. That's what you need. You need someone else to step up, as your top-tier guys are not getting the open looks that we think they would like to have. Martin over to Bassessi. Blakeman, he's going to fire. Blakeman way outside to the left, but Martin's going to be there to keep with it. That's what CNS do. You got to keep Stout on his toes because they've been shooting a lot of shots high. It means the low ones will probably open up eventually for CNS. Cicerelli over to Leahy. He's going to fire now. And that one gets in. Ian Leahy with his second goal tonight. North Stars finally end that cold streak they were on.
Yeah, and they needed that. I repeat, they needed that. 6-2 now is your score. 4 goals down feels a lot better than 5 goals down. And they're slowly making their way back in it. If Tanner Long can win this faceoff, they can go again. They had the man-up advantage there. Now it's man-to-man. But you have some momentum on your side. You need to capitalize with it.
You know, CNS has a lot of momentum here. I think they're doing great on offense. They just got to get some better shot selection. But statistically, West Genesee has played 1 more game than CNS and has 9 less goals in 1 more game than CNS does. I mean, Jenny's offense is statistically not the greatest. CNS just needs to double down on their defense.
As CNS had a chance there, John Carter dropped his stick. So now West Jenny's going to go the other way. Ball dropped there by the Jenny midfielder.
CNS kids, they just can't work that ride. Usually in other games we've seen them have this year, that ride is where they capitalize. That's where they get the large majority of their possessions. And right there, they're just unable to capitalize on it.
Yeah, another issue I think I'm almost noticing with the CNS team is last year they relied heavily on the offensive end on Anthony Semino, and on the defensive end heavily on Nolan Firth. They've got to learn that those guys are over at Hobart, William Smith, and St. Bonaventure now. They got to learn how to play without them.
Yeah, and a massive shout-out to Anthony Semino, actually just winning Player of the Week in his conference with St. Bonaventure.
I did see that. Rookie. Was it player or rookie?
Pretty sure it was Player of the Week. Might have been Rookie of the Week.
As what a shot there from West Genesee to extend that lead. Peter Carter's having a rough day in net.
With 7 goals allowed, I mean, we could see a lot of substitutions here for Peter Carter after this half. We could see Leighton Sullivan. Sullivan went in the last game, let in a couple goals against Marcellus, but is a sophomore goalie who's pretty good. Or Tyler Maluski, who has 12 saves and 7 goals against with an impressive save percentage for a Lacrosse goalie. Yeah,
this the worst thing you would do against your senior goalie is take him out. Because then the rest of the season he's not going to be confident whatsoever. It just shows that his coaches don't believe in him. So this has got to be Peter Carter mentally. He's got to lock in.
Once again, Owen, it just comes down to being dialed. And right now we've seen CNS just come out flat, and quite frankly, they have not been dialed in.
Gets it to Charlotte Kelly here. Now over to Ryan Mahoney. He's picked up by Michael Kohler. Ball inside, loose ball. Fighting for it. Malecki couldn't get a stick on it. Still fight for it. Whistle's going to be blown. This is looking to stay with West Genesee. Get over to Kelly. Now to Mahoney. Now over to Giannuzzi Jr. Back over to Mahoney. Giannuzzi. Jenny's just working it around right now, trying to find that open spot. Jenny takes things slow, which has been working for them as they fire. That one's off the stick. Fighting for it is Peter Carter. He's going to come away with that one. He fires one deep to Michael Kohler, and he's Jordan Miller, excuse me, successful with that one.
I told you, Owen, Jordan Miller has been stepping up and really starting to play a bigger role on this team.
As North Stars look like they have some legs here.
Oh, and the biggest thing I've noticed on CNS's end that's really hurting them is every time there's a ground ball, they seem to not come away with it. It's those 50-50 duels you really need to win. As a soccer player, we get preached that winning your 50-50s. Right now, CNS is just not winning the ground balls, and quite frankly, it's not helping them get extra possessions.
Well, he's going to spin. He's going to fire. That one's way outside, but this one's going to stay with CNS. Yeah, I think the biggest thing CNS needs to do, if they need to get pissed off, they've got to see they're down 7-2 at home against a team that's beat them 4 of the last 5 times. They've got to get pissed off and defend that home field.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Owen, they have nothing to lose right now. And giving up 7 goals, that's almost the most goals they've given up against West Genny since 3 years ago, excuse me. Forget we didn't play lacrosse 2 years ago due to COVID.
This Kohler's going to dump down back to Elijah Martin. Yeah, this is the most goals on average that CNS has given up. Not in a half, but in an entire game. Get over to Cicerelli. Now over to Martin. Ian Leahy inside. That one fires, and that one gets in. Ian Leahy's got a hat trick in the first half. He's feeling it. Someone else needs to start feeling it for CNS as well. Leahy can't do it all.
Yeah, no, and you're completely right. Someone else needs to start stepping up because Ian Leahy, although he has 3, there's nothing he can do. He's not going to score 7. Realistically, it's not going to happen. He could, but one player is not going to outscore West Genny in general. So someone else on CNS has to start clicking. And right now, I'm looking at the likes of Elijah Martin. I think he could score a goal or 2. He's already got an assist tonight. Mason Cicerelli, he's got an assist tonight. Why not get a couple goals on your hand? And now it's Josh Kubala making a run.
Josh Kubala fires. He won the faceoff there. They put Josh Kubala with the long stick in his hand in the middle of the faceoff, and it worked out. That's what they needed. They needed something like that, and it's going to be CNS ball here.
You know, speaking of Cicerelli and Martin, I mean, they had some great movement behind that net that fed Leahy in the middle for that nice shot. For that third goal of the night, I think we could also see a lot of teamwork coming from Leahy to, Cicerelli or Leahy to Martin later in this game.
And Owen, just because we saw Josh Kubala on that faceoff there, I got a little curious. And before this game, he was involved in 7 other faceoffs. You want to take a guess at how many he won?
I just looked at it, but I'm going to say a good amount. He won 6.
He won 6 of the 7. That's very impressive from Josh Kubala.
He fires again. What an impressive save here from West Genny. Their defense is unstoppable tonight. He gets stuck in a pit. But Cicerelli's going to fight for it. Cicerelli comes away with it. Now Stan's got to capitalize. Cicerelli spins. He's got a one-on-one with the goalie. Cicerelli fires. He gets nailed down to the ground. 2 flags fly. Genny's going to be a man or 2 down here.
And Owen, you want to know what that all stems from? The ride. CNS finally gets their ride to capitalize. They get the ball going in their direction. And just like that, they get a nice shot on goal. Mason Cicerelli's fouled. Now we can see almost 2 players out for West Genny.
Not only did the ride work, they got the ground ball too. They won the 50-50, and they had an open shot.
After helping Martin set up, Leahy for that goal, Cicerelli's just been on fire. Spun around those 2 Genny defenders and almost got a goal there. He drew 2 flags on the play. That was just amazing offense by Mason Cicerelli.
If I'm not mistaken, Genny looks to be 2 men down right now. They've only got 5 blue shirts back there, one of them being the goalie. This is a huge opportunity here for CNS.
And keep in mind, Owen, West Genny's not a team who statistically scores a lot of goals this season. They only average 10 per game. So if CNS can start to slow down their offensive output, they can get back into this game just off the fact that they can chip and
Martin to Blakeman inside.
away.
Blakeman's going to fire, and Mason Blakeman finally does it. Someone other than Leahy gets the goal for CNS, and they're coming back now. Riley Kennedy told us last year lacrosse is a game of runs. The North Stars led up a huge run to Jenny early. Now it's CNS's turn to go on a run.
And Owen, what a shot. I'm actually going to pull up the replay for us here in the booth. Mason Blakeman just absolutely firing that one into the top corner. That was a peach, Owen.
Yeah, Mason Blakeman. Elijah Martin's coming up huge. That's his second or third assist as North Stars are killing the top corner on Stout. Now Kubala is still fighting for that face-off, unable to get it. Knits the man to the ground. He's going to come away with it now. Josh Kubala pass to Cicero-North, and there's another one. CNS is on a roll now.
And Owen, that sideline is erupting with energy. That is exactly what they need. You even see the defense getting excited. They've gotten a nice break, and Josh Kubala, once again on the face-off, gets a win. Why is he not on every single face-off, Owen?
Yeah.
The kid is a
He's
monster.
going to stay in there. Josh Kubala is just so physical. If he doesn't win it with his stick, he's going to deck you the heck to the ground and take that ball from you.
Owen, he just walked right back to the middle. He knew he was on the face-off. He is the guy right now.
And Kubala is almost going to win another one. He comes with it now. It looks like Cy Lieberman's fighting for it. Still a fight for it on the ground. As
This ball
there's
is
still
still
bobbing on the
loose.
ground. Lieberman's fighting for it. Jenny's going to come away with that one.
CNS is riding this wave of momentum as Jenny calls a timeout with 2:37 left in this quarter. They rode that momentum, got 3 straight goals in just under a minute. I mean, CNS is just doing great offensive work. Jenny hasn't even had a chance to get another goal yet in this game.
Yeah, North Star is coming up huge right now in this closing part of the first half. Josh Kubala in the faceoffs. They're winning ground balls. They're playing quick on offense, beating Jenny on their toes. That's what they got to do. They're down 7-5 now. It was just 7-1.
Owen, I got to say, CNS looks dialed in right now. And once again, that's exactly where they need to be. Chuck Wilbur said, beep, 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 we're dialed.
They went to the payphone into those 2 quarters. They're ready.
And I got to say, Eric Burns, that's a brilliant timeout. We didn't mention it, but they finally get a face-off going their way. They somehow figure out how to beat Josh Kubala off the ball, mostly because he just wasn't able to pick up that ground ball. But either way, they get the ball back. Now take a timeout. You got 2:37 left. So losing that timeout's not going to really do anything to hurt you because they're going to take at least a minute on offense here. So that's a minute 37 of defense or just continued offense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the one downside of Josh Kubala having the long stick in there for the faceoffs. It's almost very hard for him to get those close quarter ground balls if he doesn't win the initial faceoff or beat the guy with his body.
Yeah, and right here, West Jenny, this is their best chance to slow CNS down. If they can score and tell CNS, hey, we're still here. Just because you can score, we can also. That's the best thing they can do because right now CNS is fired up. They didn't have to play much defense in that run. They just kept winning faceoffs and scoring. So if West Jenny can come down the field and score again, that's just going to shut the momentum for CNS down.
But also, in the last few faceoffs, Cy Lieberman's been a huge part of fighting for those ground balls. He's got to keep Cy Lieberman in that center circle around side Josh Kubala, as he's been doing great tonight.
Yeah, and Cy Lieberman, he was on this team last year as a freshman, and coming in this year as a sophomore, he plays a massive role off the bench, really fitting in as a glue guy on this team, just piecing in anywhere.
Now West Jenny's going to have their first offensive possession in a while. Let's see what North Star's defense can do. Try and prevent this Jenny goal here. You got just under about 2 minutes left to go. Here comes Bellotti. Over to Mellon. He's going to fire from way outside. That one's way long, but it's just going to stay with West Genesee.
I like that attempt, though. He's got a lot of space, and he's only about 15 yards out from the goal, so why not let one rip?
Here's Bellotti with it. They're taking things a little bit. Jenny's offense plays slow, which almost may be why CNS struggles against it. They slip. Mahoney's not able to control that one. There's a fight for it. They tip it over. It's in the stick of Ian Leahy. North Star's got the ball back on offense now. Here comes Ian Leahy. Gets away from the double team. Now they're going to settle things in. They got about a minute, just under a minute and a half left. Here comes onto the field Cy Lieberman for CNS.
Yeah, and Owen, right now they actually do need to slow things down. We saw them score hot and quick, but that was before West Jenny had that possession. Right now you do not want to give them the ball back. If you can run down this last minute, that is the best thing you can do for your team.
Martin taking things slow. Gets over to Mason Cicerelli. Now to Ian Leahy. They got Blakeman on the outside here. Right around Cy Lieberman around the 30-yard line if we're talking football terms. Leahy's holding it. You got 50 seconds now. Blakeman's coming close. Maybe he's going to ask call for the ball here. Fake the pass to Blakeman. Here comes Leahy. Gets over to Blakeman now. Over his head. He slips for it. That's a struggle for CNS as Jennings can get the ball back now with 35 seconds.
Yeah, and Rosa just a smart play there. Get it back to your goalie. Strout can feed it now.
Get over to Mahoney. Ball's diving on the middle of the field. Someone's got to run for it. Here comes Malecki. Peter Carter's out of the net as he fires one way down to Ian Leahy. He's got it. They got 18
pass.
seconds. What a pass from Peter Carter. Here comes Leahy. He's going to spin. Leahy's going to fire. That one's just off the edge of the goal. That's going to go out of bounds. Stop the clock at 11.6, and it's going to be CNS ball.
And Peter Carter nearly with an assist there with a beautiful pass. Put it right into Ian Leahy's stick.
Cicerelli now 5 seconds. He's got to go. He's only got 3. Cicerelli's going to turn. He's stuck on Rosa. And what a defensive stand from Sam Rosa at the end of the first half. Got to shout him out.
Very solid stuff from Sam Rosa. And also I want to shout out Jack Garvey. We didn't really mention his name earlier, but on West Jenny's defense, he has been very dominant. He's been picking up Mason Blakeman for most of the game, and he's done a very great job on him.
Yeah, last year Garvey and Rosa as juniors were huge. Now this year as seniors, one of them being a captain with Sam Rosa, have been doing a great job for West NC on the defensive end, only giving CNS the 5 goals. Not having, I mean, Shane Stout's doing a great job, don't get me wrong. He hasn't do a ton. Yeah, he's probably only seen, they've got 5 goals, he's probably only seen like 7 shots, 7 or 8 shots.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. Only 5 saves from Stout. 5 goals against. He's batting .500 right now, but that can flip very, very quickly.
Yeah, but that was 2 huge plays from Rose on the defensive end. And Drew Mattiassi, it looks like you got something to say here.
Yeah, CNS is just, again, riding that wave of momentum for offense. Ian Leahy, Peter Carter, that was an amazing cross-field pass. That looked like a football throw from Jackson Razmovsky over there. From Peter Carter, sending it to Leahy. Leahy spinning around those defenders. CNS is just doing great on offense right now. They need to double down on defense, though, because Jenny's offense is looking scary good tonight. That's really all that you have to say about this game so far. It's really tight, really close. CNS came back from that 5-goal deficit.
John Leese, do you have anything to add into this before we recap the first half?
It's been a really balanced attack for both teams. For the North Stars, Ian Leahy, obviously, with that hat trick. And then you have Elijah Martin chipping in with 2 assists. Definitely much needed for the North Stars. And then for Jenny, you have Burns and Mellon with 2 goals each. You have 5 scorers, 2 guys like I just noted, with 2 goals. It's been a really balanced attack by both teams. I can't wait for the second half. It's going to be really good.
Thank you to our analysts and Drew Mattiassi and Johnny Lisi and from Owen O'Keefe and Robert Bateman. We'll be right back to the second half of this intense SCAC Metro matchup. And we are back here live moments for the second half of this intense matchup. We saw the North Stars down 7-2 or 7-1 at one point against the Wildcats, and they fought back. Now it's 7-5. We saw mainly because the defense locked in, offense locked in, and Josh Kubala was in there for the faceoffs. Now they got Tanner Long there. Open up the second half to see what that starts us with.
And I'd also like to shout out, just for the girls' game that's taking place at West Jenny right now, that score's 4-3. So we have a close game on both ends, boys and girls, here tonight.
As Tanner Long won the faceoff there for the North Stars. So he gets the ball over to John Carter. Now over to Elijah Martin. Long's going to come off. Kohler's going to come on. Miller flies off, and here comes Leahy as well. Two strong attacking midfielders for CNS.
Yeah, and Leahy definitely the guy you need on the field right now. He's already got a hat trick, and he pulls a long pull all the way out to the 30-yard line.
Kohler's attacking the short stick. Now they get over to Blakeman. Oh, Bow bounces. He's going to keep it with him, though. Blakeman spins, comes around, spins back.
Yeah, and Blakeman loves that spin move, but when you have a long pull on you, that's very hard to pull off.
Leahy rips one. He's got 4 now. Ian Leahy opened up the second half hot for CNS. They trail by just 1.
And we saw Rosa switch off to him for just a second there, and Ian Leahy said, give me the ball, and puts it into the back of the net. As you watch, just Rosa steps off, Leahy just fires one.
Yeah, and this Jenny offense seems to be their main focus is on the two Masons, which is opening up a lot of room for Ian Leahy, which almost arguably is the one guy you don't want to leave.
Yeah, it's honestly a mistake. He's the second highest scorer in the section. He's got 4 goals already on you tonight.
And Tanner Long wins another one. That's huge for CNS. 2 straight faceoff wins, that's what they need. As here comes Long. He's going all the way. Tanner Long's going to fire over to Jordan Miller, but that's going to come away from West Jenny. Stout's out of the goal, fighting to control the ball. CNS has got to pressure Stout here now as they lay Stout out.
John
Carter the
taking
attack.
every chance he can to put Stout on his back.
Now Stout fires one deep. They're staying tight here. This is what the Riot CNS has got to get into. Cicero's doing a great job here keeping pressure on. Here comes Blakeman. They're going to blow a whistle. Maybe that looks like an offside thing. Someone stepped over for West Jenny. Now CNS gets the ball back. The ride is working. They just have to get into the ride at first.
No, Owen, I think they called him on time, but either way, that's honestly, that's probably better because then the ride just takes the whole time. West Jenny has to get over the field. They can't. John Carter gets a massive hit on Stout, which honestly can pay off in their favor, rattling the goalie a little bit. All the West Jenny players definitely wouldn't be happy to see that.
Leahy guarded by Kelly. Leahy's got the hot hand. I wouldn't stop feeding him. Leahy takes it back out, going to slow things down a bit. Now he's picking back up the pace. Leahy gets it over to Kohler. Now Kohler's going to go. Kohler fires. That one's off the stick into the hands of Stout as Jenny gets another stop there.
And that's a great save by Stout there, just getting down on a knee and blocking that one off.
As Stout's way out of the goal here, threads a needle. Now here comes Mahoney the other way.
And that's some great buildup by CNS, but Josh Kubala just showing off his speed there.
Yeah, he's not one player to go against lacrosse, especially not ultimate frisbee in gym class. Not fun. As ball's on the ground, fighting for is John Carter with his stick. As Jenny's going to stay with it. They get it over to Mahoney. Now to Kelly. You hear the Jenny fans calling out Shorty as they want Lockwood to attack the sword stick of Michael Kohler.
Let's keep in mind, Charles Lockwood, only a 9th grader, but he comes into this game with 13 goals and 4 assists. Those are incredible numbers for a freshman.
Lockwood's been impressive tonight for the Wildcats. As ball fires, Michael Kohler gets it in the stick of his hands. As Kohler now has got to go. He's got a double team, takes a shot to the shoulder, stays with it. Kohler's running now.
Michael did a very great job of just keeping the ball there. Spin move, shifting his stick. Just a beautiful cradle from him all around.
As Kohler's taking heat right now. He's getting angry. He's going to get over to Elijah Martin. As he probably wants to rip one as bad as anyone else on the field right now. Miller and Kohler come off. Here come Lieberman and Leahy. Elijah Martin's got a one-on-one with a long stick. You've got Leahy with the short stick right now. I would try and get the ball to Leahy if you can.
Yeah, the only problem is
John Carter, Cicero-North. That one fires off the bottom of the net, it looked like. Blakeman's there, so it's going to stay with CNS.
And I think what they're going to do now is they're just going to have to shell Kelly just stay with Leahy, not even move off him. Don't help the defense. Play some 5-on-5 lacrosse. make other people beat you, because right now Ian Leahy is the solution.
Blakeman drops his stick. It's going to go to West Jenny. As Cicero loses footing there, so Kelly's going to get by him, beat the ride. Now Kelly fires one over. Now Jenny's got all in possession. Here's Udamul.
River trying to ride a wave here to get past Kubala.
Not funny.
Tried my best.
Not funny.
Tried my best.
We need Sam Klein here to keep you quiet. So Mahoney gets it over to Bellotti. Now back across. Burns. Guarded by Joe Green. Green keeping tight on Burns. He gets his move around and Burns spins back the other way. Gets a man inside. He's going to fire towards the ground. That's way outside. Peter Carter's chasing that one down, but not quick enough. Looks like Autumn's there to keep it with West Jenny.
Oh, and I'm not going to lie. Really wanted to use an ocean pun there, but going to save it.
You're done with the water puns.
Can't give me a guy like River and not expect a water pun.
As he gets by a man, as that's missed way outside. There looks like they're going to call something. Looks like he stepped inside the crease there. Liam Burns keeps his foot or stick land inside the crease. Doesn't go back the other way for CNS. Here comes Joe Green, lose possession of it. Burns knocked it out of his hands, but it's going to stay with CNS after it falls out of bounds.
Yeah, and that was a solid check there by Burns just to get that one out of Joe Green's stick.
Joe Green gets it aside Lieberman, but that ball's bounced. Lieberman can't tell where it goes. Can't tell what they're calling here.
That's not a legal ball, Owen.
Yeah, so that's going to stay with, they're going to keep it with West Genesee.
That's a little surprising, to be honest with you. I'd assume that should just go back to the inbound, but I guess not.
They bring in Nick Ludwig here at LSM. Bellotti has it for the Wildcats. Miller guarding Bellotti tightly. Miller loses footing. Bellotti spins back, going back around towards X. Gets it to Mahoney. Mahoney fires and gets the one around Peter Carter's left shoulder as Jenny nets in their first goal of the half with just about halfway through. I didn't want to say it because I don't want to jinx the North Stars defense, but I was thinking it.
And 8-6 is your score. That 2-goal gap still holding strong for Jenny now. Really, this just comes down to who can score next because, like basketball, it's a game of runs. Riley Kennedy would say all the time last year, just a game of runs. If one team gets hot, they can come away with it. We saw CNS get hot late in that second quarter. Right now in the third quarter, halfway through, it's 1-1 as Tanner Long wins a faceoff.
Tanner Long's got to go. Gets it over to John Carter. Tanner Long sprinting off. They got to get Leahy on the field. And they're going to instantly get it to Leahy. He's got to feed the hot hand. He's picking up a short stick again. Leahy's just got to go. He's bringing in a double team on him. He gets spun into traffic. Ball's a fight for the ball. Leahy's going to chase that one down. That one's going to stay with CNS. North Stars need to capitalize here. Jenny just scored, and CNS got to score and then get the ball right back. Leahy gets it over to Elijah Martin. That ball fumbled.
We've seen a couple dropped passes here from CNS in this third quarter. They need to clean that up.
Here comes Kohler. Gets it over to Mason Cicerelli. Looking for a man in the middle. He's going to stick with it. Pass or shot, no go. But Cicerelli's going to be there. It's going to stay with CNS.
Cicerelli all game has been looking for passes from behind that net, sending them up through the middle, and Jenny defensemen just cannot get past that pass from Cicerelli to the middle. It's worked every time, especially when he gives it to Leahy.
Yeah, Cicerelli and Blakeman both dead silent tonight for the North Stars.
Michael Kohler rattles that one off the crossbar. Really unlucky for CNS there.
As here comes Kelly. He's got no one to pick him up. Someone's got to grab him. He's going to fire someone inside. He was wide open. What a save from Peter Carter. He was hit with a one-on-one.
Point-blank range, Owen, right there from Peter Carter. Great job getting his stick in the way of that one.
North Stars got to come back down and capitalize here. Elijah Martin gets over Cicerelli. Like I just said, him and Blakeman both dead silent in the stat sheet tonight. Cicerelli sets the screen for Blakeman. Pass side to Silerman a little too long. That one looks like it's going to sail out of bounds. This is going to go to West Jenny. That's not what CNS needed.
Oh, and once again, just a bobbled pass. In the first half, we saw that it was the ground ball CNS wasn't winning, and now it's the bobbled passes. It's the simple things right now that they're not doing, and that's why they find themselves behind.
Kelly over to Bellotti. Back to Bellotti. Mahoney gets it over to Bellotti. That pass bobbled. There's a chase down for it to the sideline. Bellotti stays in bounds. Tanner Long staying tight on him. This is a fight for it. That was number 18, Jake Malecki. Playing the intense defense there now. It's his brother, Joe Malecki, flying this one downfield. That one's caught by Josh Kubala, and he's going to go on the offensive end.
I'd love to see him just run with this one here.
We love to see Nolan do it last year. Josh Kubala, we love to see it doing this year.
D1 Diesel.
Here comes John Carter. He's got some speed on his feet. Who's got the short stick right now? It's Ian Leahy with the short stick as they sail that pass way over the head of Ian Leahy. That's going to go to West Genesee now. Here comes Kelly. Gets it over to Lockwood.
Jenny really doing a great job here trying to set up their offense against CNS defense, especially after that missed pass by Leahy.
Audemul with it for the Wildcats. Now Kelly. Kelly gets by his man. He fires. That's off the goal. That one didn't. They're actually going to call that one a goal for Tashala Kelly as Jenny now leads 9-6.
He walked through and straight through the middle on CNS's defense. I feel like he had no opposition to that play. He carved right through the middle, got his shot off, and that makes it a 9-6 ball game.
But if I'm not mistaken, it looked like CNS had a shot that bounced out of the in and out of the net like that one did. They didn't call that one a goal, but they gave that one to Jenny for Tashala Kelly.
Definitely a weird play, but at the end of the day, West Jenny finds themselves up in a 6-9 game.
Yeah, North Stars opened out the second half quick, and then Jenny's gotten 2 in the last 4 minutes, excuse me. North Stars need this face-off win there. Tanner Long really needs to dig in. They're fighting for it. Jordan Miller's in there. No one still has possession yet. Tanner Long still fighting. Looks like West Genesee's going to come away with this one. That's Ryan Kemp, as he's getting mauled right now by the CNS attack. Going to go crossfield. John Carr's going to pick up that long stick. They get it over. Nick Ludwig's back on the field. Mahoney taking things slow now. Gets over to Jack Mellon. Back over to Mahoney.
West Jenny just going to spread things out again. They want to make the CNS defense come out to them. That's how we saw them get up early. They scored 5 goals straight just from spreading out CNS's defense.
Back over to Mahoney. Looks like he might try and go now. He's got the short stick Jordan Miller on him. He's going to spin. Looks for person inside. They get it to him, and that's off the bottom of the ground. Liam Burns to Peter Carter's left ankle. Now Jenny leads 10-6. North Stars need a goal here before the end of this quarter.
And Liam Burns with an absolute rifle into the bottom corner of Peter Carter's net. Things are not looking good for CNS right now. They came back at the end of that second quarter, but once again, like they did in the first, they're just letting it slip away from their hands.
Yeah, Liam Burns now has a hat trick tonight, 3 goals and an assist.
Liam Burns came into this game with 17 goals, just outside of that top goal scorer range in the section.
As Jenny wins another faceoff, and that's trouble for them. Here's Lockwood, the freshman, as you mentioned. Here comes Audemul. Guarded tightly by Joe Green. Now they get it to Kelly. Now to Bellotti. Bly taking this around the side. They're going to switch a long stick onto him. Now here's Kelly guarded by Jordan Miller. Kelly's going to go. Jordan Miller playing great defense here on Tashala Kelly. Now he's Audible.
West Jenny has really slowed things down here, and it's working in their favor.
Lieberman guarding River Audible tightly. She's going to switch Jordan Miller onto him. They've got about 40 seconds left. Fire back to Tashala Kelly on X. About 30 seconds now.
Lieberman's just got to hold him behind the goal here. You can't let him get around this crease.
Lieberman's doing a great job right now. Him and Miller, they're attacking the short sticks, doing a great job of playing defense. Kelly's got about 20 seconds. He's going to go now. Goes around the side. Fakes. Goes back towards X. He's going to go back around here, look for River. Fakes, Lieberman goes back around. Kelly fires. And that one's going to fire in for a goal again. Tashala Kelly getting 2 goals quickly at the end of this third quarter as CNS is back down into that 5-goal deficit.
And Kelly just with a beautiful finish there. He's able to fake outside Lieberman, get around the backside of the crease, and fire that one into the opposite corner of Peter Carter's net. Just a really unlucky stand from CNS. You have 7 seconds left on the clock. All you have to do is just really contain him. Don't let him get a shot off. And right there, CNS lets up a shot, and that one finds the back of the net.
Yeah, and one thing we did see, we saw him come back down from the 5-goal deficit, bring it in within the 3 1/4, but now they have to bring it in within 5 1/4, and that's the closing quarter. They got no time after that. So the North Stars need a huge, and I mean huge, fourth quarter here tonight.
CNS's defense on that play, I think that what Coach Wilbur's saying right now, they need to double down on defense. I said it last game, and I'm saying it again this game. CNS needs to double down and dial in their defense for the rest of this game. They came back from a big deficit in the second quarter, and they can do it again in the fourth quarter. I mean, they beat Jenny 12-11 in overtime last time. Hopefully they can beat them by 12-11 this time without going into overtime, but their defense needs to start guarding that man behind the net. That's 2 goals now that have just gone unanswered because they have not been guarded from behind the net or in the middle, just carving straight through.
Drew, I love your use of my word of the night, dialed in. And right there, we just see West Jenny. They dial in for that third quarter, and they were able to pull ahead again. But like we saw in the second, if CNS can really lock things down, they can come back just like that.
Yeah, it was 7-5 going into that quarter. North Stars opened up out hot, and then Jenny scored 4 straight. You can't give up 4 straight goals. If they want to win this game, I don't think CNS can give up another goal at all. If they give up a goal, I wouldn't call this game over, but it almost might as well be. And the other side of news, on the other side of town, in Camillus, the Lady North Stars are up 6-3 now on the Lady Wildcats. Hopefully, if things don't go our way here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium, the ladies at the other side of the field can do the job.
And Owen, right now you and I are just looking at these other box scores from CNS on the other games they've played this season, and the only game that they lost, they gave up more than 10 goals. So right now they're in unfamiliar territory. They need to find a way to win. And funny enough, when they lost that Beeville game, the score was 13-6, and that seems like a realistic score for tonight if CNS isn't able to pull back ahead.
Yeah, and Wilbur and Gatto, they're going to go with Kubala in the center to go against Ryan Kemp for this faceoff. They need a win here. Kemp did a really good job last year against Aiden Long, Tanner's older brother, who was a great fogo for CNS, as he battled with a little bit of injuries last season. As Ryan Kemp and the Wildcats win that faceoff to open up the fourth quarter, that's not a good sign here for CNS. Bounce pass, bobble. Joe Green's going to fly that one up into the air. There's still a fight for it. Joe Green fighting out and move for it. Next, going to get into the stick of number 22 there, Nelson Hudgens. Or 23, excuse me, Jack Mellon. We haven't seen a lot of offense out of him for Jenny, but he's been great as a defensive short stick for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and really the only other time I think I saw him step up into offense, he scored. I'm pretty sure he has 2 goals on the night.
He's got 2. You are correct. As they fire, it's off the stick of Peter Carter, and he's ready to go back in. Nicholas Ludwig chasing that one down with his long stick, flips it back in. That was Joe Green flipping it to Ludwig as Malecki gets it to Peter Carter. You got to find a short stick here, Pete, as that ball flies out of the back of his net. As he seems to be getting a little nervous here in goal tonight for the North Stars. As he sends one way deep to Josh Kubala, and we like seeing Josh Kubala in the front side of the field.
And once again, Peter Carter just throwing an absolute dot to Josh. Really got to give credit to Peter Carter's passing ability.
Is Kohler, it looks like they're just waiting for Leahy to come onto the field.
It's probably a smart choice.
Leahy's going to draw the long stick. Martin, another bobbled pass. Martin's got the short stick. He's got to go. He's got an attacking midfielder guarding him. This is Elijah Martin's time to capitalize. Gets it to Blakeman, then Cicero. Cicero back over to Martin. Now to Michael Kohler. He's also got a short stick on him. Now to Blakeman. Cicero sets a screen for him. Blakeman's going to spin. He fires. That one's bounced off the ground, but Cicero is there. It's going to stay with CNS. We got under 10 minutes now. They still trail by 5.
I would like to see Mason Cicerelli just try to isolate and work a little bit. I feel like he has not been used to his full potential here tonight for CNS.
As Martin gets by, he's going to spin back around to his right hand. You haven't really seen a lot of full-on ISO from Blakeman or Cicerelli. As Martin gets over to Cicerelli. Now to Blakeman. Now to Kohler. North Stars need a goal here. Get over to Cicerelli. Back to Blakeman. He's going to go. He's going to spin. He's got that position he likes. Spins back to his right hand. He fires, and Mason Blakeman gets one, and that's his second goal of the night for the North Stars.
And Owen, you said it best right there. That's the position he likes, and really that's where Mason Blakeman works best. When he can roll around the crease and work towards the middle, he can score when he cuts back outside, and if he's able to roll around the middle like he did just there, he's able to put it away. That's Mason Blakeman's best spot, and honestly, if they can work him into those positions more, he can slowly chip their way back into this game.
Josh Kubala is in the center for the faceoff, and with Mason Cicerelli in that position, I almost get deja vu when I see him do that, because every time he did that last year, it's almost a guaranteed goal for CNS. And he's finally gotten that position that he likes for the first time tonight, and he scored off of it. As Kubala loses the faceoff there. Get over to Burns, now to Kelly. That one's to Mahoney. Giannuzzi Jr. now. Picked up by Jordan Miller. He falls to the ground, loses his stick. They get back to it. Here's Outamul, guarded by Caleb Martin. Something we haven't seen very much of tonight on the CNS defense. Now Joe Green guarding Burns tightly. To get inside, ball fought for. Ball flies down. Here comes CNS. That's Jordan Miller, George 4404 as we like to call him. Looks like CNS is going to call a timeout here as they're now only down 11-7. There's just under 8 minutes to go. Looks like we might take a little breather as well here from the North Star Network. We'll be right back. And we are back here on the North Star Network. Owen O'Keefe alongside Robert Bateman. About 7:58 left to go in this fourth quarter of the North Stars Wildcats matchup. North Stars trailing 11-7. They just scored a goal not too long ago.
And right now, CNS just needs a goal every 2 minutes. That's very doable. It is a lot, but it's doable.
I mean, we saw them score, 2 or 3 goals within 4 minutes towards
Yeah.
the end of that second quarter. So it's not like they can't do it.
I'd almost say it was 3 goals in 3 minutes. It was very quick succession.
Blakeman loses the ball on the ground, and here comes the Wildcats the other way. They need to capitalize and not make simple mistakes in every offensive possession they get. As Jenny now with them up 4, they're going to draw things out.
Oh, and I won't lie, I will think the next goal West Jenny scores, that could end it.
They very well could. As if Jenny's next goal is scored, I would assume it'd be around the 5 minute mark, which that's almost 2. That's not enough time for CNS to score 5 goals, 4 OT, or even 6 to win the game in regulation.
And Owen, when CNS did beat West Jenny last year, that game, that was a 1-goal game, and it came down to the last second. So anything that comes down to it, it's going to be a tight game. It just depends on if West Jenny can seal it off here or if CNS has a chance to work back to it.
Mahoney guarded by Martin. Elijah Martin, that is.
Looks like Jenny's taking their time in the offensive zone now, just trying on their attack, just trying to, seal this victory, keep this 11-7 margin.
North Stars defense does a great job there. That ball sails out of bounds. Robert, you get a little bit of deja vu from last time, the first time Jenny was here last season. When the game was sort of like this, CNS started to come back in the fourth quarter, and Jenny drawed out every possession they had, and they lost by a goal.
Yeah, just a little bit, and I was actually going to bring that up in a couple of minutes because West Jenny just does such a great job at managing the clock that once they get leads like this, it's very rare you ever see a team get back into the game because they just take so long on the ball. And it's full credit to them. If you're up, why not? There's no need to rush when you have time.
John Carter guarded tightly by Tashala Kelly. He gets over to Ian Leahy, who's got the long stick.
Drawing a lawn stick 25 yards away from goal.
Leahy fires that one's off the ground into the stick of Shane Stout. As he's done an impressive job in these latter halves of this game for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and thanks to Johnny Lisi, our live statistician here tonight, we see that Stout has 8 saves on the night.
Yeah, he was at 5-5. Now he's at 8-6 for saves and goals allowed. So he's doing a great job. Yeah, Jenny's just going to keep on drawing things out and slow this game down even more. They've got just 5 minutes left. North Stars need to put pressure on them, plain and simple. And when you don't put pressure, it's hard to get 5. That's if you're scoring 4 goals every possession. It's hard to get 4 possessions in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and they're really met with a decision they have to make. Either you step up and press and hope to win the ball back, or you sit back and hope they don't score and you have a chance to get 4 goals in however much time they leave you.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, there either isn't a shot clock for boys lacrosse in high school, or if there is, it's very enforced very loosely, where it's not really ever put into place.
I do believe there's not. I know in professional it's 40 seconds. Also with college it's 40 seconds.
Exactly.
And, going back to that subject, we can really see here in the midfield, Jenny's not even trying to provide an attack right now. They've run down the clock to 4:24. It's still 11-7. They're trying to seal the deal here, playing passive attack, but aggressive defense to try and maintain this 11-7 lead.
Now, I also do know there is a term and a penalty in here considered called stalling, but it's very hard to get called on you. If you just make simple passes or even like little jabs towards the goal, you won't get it called on you.
Yeah,
which is
Owen,
what we saw Jenny do last year, too.
Yeah, Owen, you're right. And as frustrating as it is for CNS, this is the best thing West Jenny can do for themselves. If they can just hold this ball and draw out the clock, yeah, as you see now, CNS has to press.
I think the best thing CNS could say is just, we'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll see you May 12th. That's the best thing CNS can say after this game. They'll ride on the bus over there to Camillus, and they'll just hopefully beat the Wildcats out their cage.
Yeah, and West Jenny, I believe, aren't even in their division this year. I think they dropped down to Class A, so this is not a team that CNS will have to face in sectionals.
Correct you there. There's only A, B, C, D in lacrosse, so they dropped down to B. But you are correct. The only teams that CNS really know that they'll see in this regular season, though, that they will play in sectionals is Liverpool and Baldwinsville, because Jenny and FM both dropped down to B. FM dropped last year, but Jenny joined them this year.
What a matchup that will be in Class B. Just FM and Jenny, two historic franchises of high schools.
Can't
just
forget
going at
JD in
it.
Class B of the
Yeah,
Empire
JD
League.
also,
impressive
they run.
lacrosse.
Yeah, they beat FM last year. They definitely run the lacrosse unit. They actually had a kid go to Yale, D1 for lacrosse last year. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah, Jamesville DeWitt is a very impressive lacrosse program, and you can't lie about that. They're sitting at 3-2 right now on the season. They're 3-1 in the SCAC. I'm assuming they played some tough games. They played Victor out of Rochester, a very strong team, and ESM, someone who's seen us play close last year, their final regular season game.
ESM also a very solid team. I believe CNS does play them at some point today, Owen. If you just go over to CNS's schedule, I think they're one of our last
We get
games.
ESM May 14th, the final home game before sectionals, which is something I hope CNS makes.
Yeah, CNS, right now they're sitting at 6-1, but the only problem is every game they've had in the Metro, they've seemed to struggle, and they're 1-1 right now. They beat FM 13-10. We'd assume they're going to take an L here tonight with only 3 minutes left on the clock, down 4 goals. Baldwinsville this Friday is a very tough matchup for them. FM right after that, and then Liverpool at home. They really have a tough stretch of games coming up here, Owen.
And then they get Jenny, ESM, and Liverpool again, who right now, the SCAC Metro, you've got the front leaders with Baldwinsville in the entire Class A Section 3. But CNS and Liverpool, I don't think they're that far behind in sectionals. Liverpool was a very strong team last year, just young and inexperienced. This year, it's almost the same exact team, and they got better. Their goalie, Owen Salinger, leads the league in saves. And Aaron Clothier, their attacksman, leads the league in goals. They've got scoring. They've got defense. Can it translate with the other 9 guys on the field? I'm not exactly sure.
And Owen, that's the big thing about sectionals. It really is like a March Madness type tournament. Anything can happen on any given night. You never really know who's going to win sectionals until it's that sectional final and the clock sounds.
Like we saw their Cinderella story of the CNS girls lacrosse team last year, going to Baldwinsville for the championship and knocking them out. As CNS has to pull their goalie now a little bit. Peter Carter stepped out at the beginning of there, now he's back in. Now CNS got to play tight. They need to get a turnover here, even just one more goal to make this look a little bit better. And those will give you guys some confidence going into Beeville Friday. You don't want to go scoreless basically in the second half.
You know, I think this game's going to be a real test for what CNS can provide against Beeville on Friday. Again, another tough match. Beeville's undefeated this year. One of the great lacrosse programs in the state, arguably. 7-0 just overall. CNS is going to have a tough time beating them, but I think that they can take this loss against West Jenny and really prove themselves against Beeville, hopefully Friday night here at Michael J. Bragman at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, not only with that, Beeville is very strong offense. They're not so much strong up. They are, but if they don't really need to be. They're so strong defensively, but they don't really need to play offense. Most goals they get up this season is 10. That was against ESM, who probably might be the best team in the Empire side of the SCAC.
And Owen, I just can't help but think that if CNS didn't give up those 5 early goals, really sloppy goals, some of them ones that they gave up, those 2 penalties, the poor pass, just plenty of goals that could not have, really shouldn't have happened. We're looking at maybe even an 8-7, 7-7, 9-7 game, something close that CNS can manage here. But right now, it's just the cards didn't fall in their favor tonight.
Yeah, you can't argue. It's that early game that almost lost them. Like you just said, it lost them this game. Giving up a lot of goals early is what took them out of this game from the get-go. And what they had to do when they let Jenny go out and score 5 straight goals, you had to come back and score 4 or 5 straight goals. You couldn't only score 2.
Yeah, and speaking about Beeville's defense, I mean, it's just so strong. The goalie with the most saves on their team has only around 25 points compared to the rest of the league. I mean, it's just such strong defense. Other teams just can't even afford to really get shots off on their goalie, so it doesn't really matter how good their goalie is. Their defense is just stellar along with their amazing offense.
Yeah, and that defense is led by Tucker Macknick for Beeville. He was solid last year, and he's even better this year. I don't know where he's going, but I know for certain he is going to Division I next year and for the spring.
West Jenny really stalled for about 6 minutes of this game. The last 6 minutes of this game looks like it's going to be an 11-7 final game.
And that looks
they
like
might
a stalling.
finally call the stall after 6 minutes, so North Stars get 14 seconds of offense here. As Peter Carter slings one down, that's bobbled by Mason. Blakeman's going to fight for it. Mason Blakeman does get it. He flings it other side. Caught by John Carter. He rips one, and that's saved by Shane Stout. And that's going to zero out the clock as Jenny rushes the field to their goalie of Shane Stout. And North Star is going to jog over after a heartbreak, not even a heartbreaker, just a tough game tonight for CNS.
Yeah, and a tough game is really the best way to put it, Owen. Like I said earlier, it's just those simple mistakes that really lost them this game. If you can eliminate those, it's a very close game, and CNS can come away with it. Instead, West Jenny just able to capitalize on just really mental mistakes by CNS, and quite frankly, that's why you see them take an L here tonight.
And it looks like the girls' game just ended. They ended up winning 7-5, so boys, girls, they split the series for tonight in the West Jenny CNS matchup. And yeah, CNS, they had their mistakes like we saw with the girls. The girls haven't been struggling to win draws, which caused them to lose a few games. Boys can really win a face-off tonight. They threw in 2 or 3 different guys tonight, which you rarely see. You'll see Beeville, they're going to throw, I think it's Leo Johnson, the kid's name is their Fogo.
Right.
He's pretty solid. We saw him last year he was a sophomore last year being the Fogo of a team that if there was states, they probably would have won states last year.
Yeah,
and that was
I
He
agree.
was a sophomore as a Fogo. I'm pretty sure he was already committed to Florida Southern to play as a sophomore.
Yeah, and Owen, it really just, honestly, I think CNS can benefit from this loss. Just looking at it, because some of the competition they've played, let's be honest, it's not the greatest. Teams like Ithaca, Marcellus, good teams for their class, but they're not Class A schools. They're not going to compete with the best. So, Round Out Valley, honestly, Owen, I don't even know where that is. Just looking at some of these teams, 16-1 against New Hartford, 11-7 against Bethlehem. Bethlehem's all right, but a lot of CNS's wins are against teams that, quite frankly, they beat in any sport they play them in. So when they play these bigger schools like West Jenny, like Beeville, they got to win against FM. It's going to be closer competition, and this is a loss that they can benefit from, because now that you know what this tougher competition is like, you can build off it. If you bring that energy to every single game, you can get wins. You can win games. You can get into sectionals, and that's when you can really make a run. It's when teams gel come sectionals time that's when they start winning games.
Yeah, it's almost as if they played those 5 Class B or lower schools. Just almost, I don't want to say this to sound down and sound bad on CNS's scheduling, but they almost played those 5 schools to get them 5 wins so they can have their sectional record boosted so they actually make sure they get in, because it's going to be a little more strict this year compared to last year. So they want to make sure they actually get in, and then that's when they're going to go for their fight.
Yeah, and I agree. And Owen, I can't help but think about all of the great games we have lined up for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, make sure to tune into the North Star Network, as if weather permits, CNS will be taking on New Hartford in a great game of varsity baseball at MBT Bank Stadium. Make sure to tune in for that. Check CNS Athletics on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram to see if the time changes due to weather, like I said. And then it doesn't end there. On Friday, we will be here. Well, I won't. I'll be hosting the talent show. But Owen and Drew will be here.
You won't let that go, will you, that you're hosting the talent show?
I won't, because I'm very excited for this Beeville game, and I'm a little upset that I'm missing it.
Yeah, sure.
But on Friday, make sure to tune into the North Star Network at 7 p.m. as Beeville comes over to take on CNS. They lost 13-6 in the last matchup at Beeville, so Beeville comes to Michael J. Bragnum Stadium. CNS looking to defend their home field. And then, that's not it. Saturday, make sure to tune into the North Star Network at, I believe, 12 o'clock as South Jefferson Girls Varsity Lacrosse takes on CNS here at Michael J. Bragnum Stadium. 12 o'clock is your start time for that one. You'll get to see the likes of Francesca Tortora, Sam Klein, Sammy Buckets as we love to call her, Molly McGrath, Brooke Molchernoff take on the likes of South Jefferson, who gave them 2 very close games last year.
They split the series last
year,
right?
I do believe they split the series, both teams beating each other away. So that's going to be a great matchup that comes back to Michael J. Bragnum Stadium. So make sure just to tune in to the North Star Network all throughout this week, because we are filled with great games.
Yeah, North Star Network loaded this week. If you're not watching, you're missing out.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and then I think with CNS going back to this Gus Jenny game, that's going to put a chip on their shoulder heading into Baldwinsville and heading into the continuous rest of the season that they have. That's going to make them even more fired up to go to Jenny's field. They just embarrassed CNS on their home field. They're going to go to Jenny, and they're going to want to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, I know, and I mentioned it earlier. This CNS team has a lot of energy. When they get going, it is a show to watch. So you feel them with a lot of anger. I'm very excited to see how this team comes out next game.
Yeah, and I think that's going to sum us up and wrap us up from the North Star Network tonight. Can't thank Johnny Lisi enough for doing stats tonight. Aaron Tarquinio doing camera for us. Drew Mediasa keeping an eye on those stats and adding in some input as his own. Robert Bateman, my color. From myself, my name is Owen O'Keefe. And from the North Star Network, everyone have a great night. See you tomorrow night.